Good afternoon, Abraham. So nice to see you again.
How do you feel about your teeth?
I'm rather fond of them. I'd like to keep them. Thank you.
We're going to pull this way. Now we're going to move it that way.
Are you playing with
now
me?
We're going a little. A little.
Good.
Sorry, your time is up.
Abraham, could you please explain about spirit guides, and do each and every one of us have one, per se, of our own, or are spirit guides for everybody? You're a spirit guide.
Well, the label is interesting because the label implies that your spirit guide will guide you. It would be better to say spirit amplifier or spirit resonator or spirit holder of the vibration of who you really are. Esther remembers that in the beginning, because the word spirit guide had been presented to her, and she sort of thought that it would be someone that would look out ahead and keep her from tripping over things and falling in holes and things like that. In other words, someone that would sort of guide her around the obstacles of life, or even more important, guide her to what is wanted. And we want to remind you that through life you have asked, and that then the answers are there for you, and that really is the guidance, and that your inner being or the source within you, or whatever you want to call it, is standing in that vibrational place, knowing all that you've become, calling you toward all that you've become. And it's all right to call that guidance, and so it's all right to call it spirit guide, but we just want to clarify what's really going on. Your vortex, the source within you, is calling you toward the fullness of that which is you. And so the term guide in a singular sense really isn't accurate, because there are so many of us focused upon you, knowing who you are. It's a collective consciousness rooting for you to discover your own path that you have carved out. It's not that someone else has carved it out and now trying to get you on it. It's that you've carved it out, and we are standing in resonance with what you've carved out, shining a light that's bright enough that you can feel when you're on it or off of it. Everyone, yes, everyone is an extension of that source energy, and everyone has access to that powerful, intense, deliberate focus on you. So we just want to help you morph your vision of that a little bit. We would rather that instead of you looking for a guide, that you understand that all of that is focused at you, on you, to you, through you. And that when you allow it, you can feel that guidance, and it feels like certainty. It feels like knowing. It feels like confidence. It feels like sureness. It's not like somebody tapping on the shoulder and saying, hey, you're missing that, you're missing that, you're missing that. Because when you're missing it, you can't even feel the tap on the shoulder, you say.
How does that equate to the sixth sense that they talk about, that everybody has a sixth sense, or that third eye?
All of those things could be talking about that.
Psychics will say, they will address your spirit guide and say, your spirit guide's name is so-and-so. Is that true?
Well, it doesn't matter. The thing about even this conversation that we're having with you, we're not whispering words in Esther's ear that she is repeating to you. We're offering knowing, blocks of thought, knowing that goes beyond physical senses. It goes beyond consciousness, even in the way that you think of consciousness. So we're offering this vibration to Esther, and she's finding it, feeling it, resonating with it, and doing her best to verbalize, even though words are insignificant in relationship to the wholeness of what she's receiving. So no words are really being offered. We don't speak words to each other. We just convey knowing. Not so different from the way your animals convey knowing. They don't talk to each other either. But there's a tremendous amount of thought interaction that takes place among them. So the label, just like any of words, is a focal point for you. Esther wanted to know who we are, and she was reaching for that. And so we did not say Abraham. We offered a block of thought to her that explained who we are. And Esther, at that unconscious level, interpreted it that teacher, present as long as man has been understanding that there is something from source that is coming through, at the basis of all religion. And Esther was not a religious person and did not consciously know that, but somehow from what she had gathered from physical experience, the label of Abraham best represented, if there has to be a label, a block of thought. Man uses the word God to explain that all the time, but God activates such screwy vibration in humans that we don't use that word, because it activates within you all kinds of things that which you think God is, isn't.
And it's preached and has been for generations and generations. God.
Much of it's all right. Some of it resonates, some of it doesn't, some of it's good for you, some of it isn't. Pick among it what fits you, leave the other aside, but push against none of it.
Abraham, you speak, when you talk, you say, Esther did this is what went on with Esther and Jerry and whatever, so you were there and you witnessed it. You hear her talking and she'll say, well, but Abraham, it's true. So you do that with Esther, but you do that with all of us as well. We're no different than Esther or Esther than us. It's just you have a broader communication base going on.
And we have unequivocal permission from Esther to use the basis of her life as an example of that which might serve you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.